Hey everyone, and welcome to today's vlog about nutrition and balance. It's going to be kind of a general overview, just some general stuff about nutrition, my view of nutrition, and some stuff that's worked for me and some of my clients in the past. And yeah, hopefully kind of a segue into some smaller, more specific blog topics on nutrition. Blog topics on nutrition. So if you have any, definitely leave them for me below after the video and I will hopefully get to those as well. So yes, today's going to be a little more general, but later we can get a little bit more specific and hopefully with some things that you guys want to know. So I've got my board in front of me in case I get off track because I can ramble. I'm going to try and keep this concise. All right, so something that's super important to remember with nutrition before we even start is that everyone is slightly different and different things are going to work for different people. So if you've seen people that have success with, if it's your macros or just any kind of different thing, keto, paleo, any of it, just remember that just because you see someone have success with that doesn't mean that you have to do it to be successful. Different things are gonna work for different people. Everyone's body reacts to different foods differently, different exercise differently. There's some general things that kind of span for everyone. There's, nutrition science and stuff that just is kind of solid and there. But there's definitely different ways to get to where you want to go, so don't feel like you have to do one certain thing. And just because I am or someone else is, doesn't mean that that's exactly what you have to do either. Remember to listen to your body, listen to how foods make you feel, listen to how certain ways of eating make you feel, and things like that. So just before we get started, that's something super key to remember. Everyone's slightly different, so everyone's going to have a slightly different approach, even within the same more broad approach to eating. All right, so there you go right there. It's everything that I say, everything that someone else is teaching you about nutrition, and you're incorporating it into your life. Remember to think about and feel out how it actually makes you feel throughout the day and tweak accordingly. All right, so a lot of more specific things I have in my nutrition kind of guide, but we're going to talk really general today, like I said. So I'm going to check my board occasionally, and we're going to keep going. So the number one thing with nutrition and figuring out how you want to go about it and what it is for you is going to be that you want to pick something sustainable for your lifestyle. So if you can last on keto for a week and then you go into a crazy binge for a week, it's probably not the correct nutrition lifestyle for you. It's not going to be a lifestyle. It's going to be a yo-yo off and on, off and on. And that can be very discouraging and just very tough in general. So you want to find something that's, and keto is just an example. I have nothing against it. You want to find something that's sustainable for you. For me personally, that involves a lot of balance, a lot of whole foods and things like that, and allowing myself to feel like I'm living as well. So for example, at Christmas time, I give myself that span of, 4 days, 3-4 days to kind of adjust my nutrition balance and make it feel like I'm actually enjoying Christmas. So I know a lot of times you'll hear, 85-20 or 80-20 or 85-15 for the nutritional balance. Give yourself a little bit of a leeway to enjoy yourself and then the rest of the time stay on track. So I definitely agree with that. I love that. I love, having the random night of dessert during the week or the random pizza day or pizza night, not day. You don't want an entire day of pizza. But I think it's super important to remember also when talking about your own balance with nutrition, it's going to change throughout the year. So during Christmas, mine probably goes down more to 50-50. Whereas during the rest of the year, besides, like birthday or Thanksgiving or something, I'm probably a lot more closer to 85% on track and 15% off track. And again, these aren't exact percentages, but just that general area, I stay on track a lot. I give myself some leeway so that I can still feel like I'm enjoying my life. So I think that's super important to find your own balance. For everyone, it's going to be slightly different again. So you're going to feel slightly different. Living your life and enjoying your life while making progress is going to feel slightly different to you than it is to me. So you definitely want to make sure you're living in a balance that makes you happy, but also pushes you to make progress. So you just gotta kind of find that for yourself. And you've got to remember that it's going to change throughout the year. It's going to change maybe in different stages of life, but you just adjust and go back and forth according to what's best for you in that moment. I like to remind people all the time that this is a lifestyle. It's not a 30-day challenge or a 3-month challenge. When you look at it in that small, intense pocket of time, one day off seems like earth-shattering and horrible. But when you step back and you remember, hey, this is a lifestyle, I'm doing this for my health, I'm doing this so I can feel good, I'm doing this long term, that 1 or 2 days where maybe you fell off track doesn't seem as much of a big deal. It doesn't send you spiraling into weeks and months of, off trackness, because you're like, hey, I'm just gonna hop back on. So remember, find a way to live your nutritional life that is sustainable for you, workable for you, and then also remember that it's a lifestyle. So when you do fall off track, don't let it get you down. Don't let it rock your world. Just hop right back on, because that's what it's all about. It's all about just progressively getting better, doing the things that you know you need to do, and enjoying your life. That's super important. So, another thing that is super important here is to remember that you don't need to cut out a specific macronutrient or food group to be successful. So I know that there have been things in the past like, stay away from fat, don't eat any carbs, things like that. And those are super hard to sustain. I know for me personally, and I know for other people that have tried to do it, it can be just a very hard and very restrictive lifestyle. So I do want to take a moment to talk about the low carb thing, because when people say they're low carb, they are often low processed carb, which is a good thing. So that's saying that low processed carb is staying away from things like white flour breads and white flour pastas and all of those overly processed carby foods that we probably shouldn't be eating anyways, except for occasions and occasionally. So that when you're looking at low carb in that light, it honestly is not the most horrible path to take. But that being said, you need to remember that you are still hopefully getting your carbs from veggies and fruits and whole grains. Carbohydrates are a necessary nutrient. They're not something to be completely cut out. Neither are fats and neither is protein. So you want a nice little healthy mix of all of them that makes you feel good, feel alive and awake and wonderful. But you don't necessarily have to calculate them all down to the, smallest macro and know everything in every meal. You just want to make sure that you're getting a good balance of each of them. So getting your carbs from veggies, fruits, whole grains, things like that most of the time. Getting your healthy fats from, avocados and nuts, and healthy cooking oils like ghee or coconut oil or avocado oil. And then of course your protein. I think most people know all the different protein sources that they like. There's tons of them. But definitely making sure that you're living a well-rounded life there, because all of those different foods and food groups do have different nutrients, different vitamins, different minerals, different things that serve your body in different ways. So you don't have to cut anything out to be successful. You just need to have find a balance that works for you. One thing that I will say, as far as, I have never been a macro person. I tried it for a week and it about drove me insane. And I know a lot of people feel that way. There's nothing wrong with it. If you enjoy it, if it really works for you, then I definitely say go for it and do it, because it can work, and I've seen it work amazingly for people. It just doesn't work for me. It's too restrictive. It's too much math. It's too much thinking about what I'm eating constantly. I become like an obsessed person. So I am much more into finding my own balance with lots of whole foods and the occasional treats. But I will say that if you're not going to count anything, which I love because it's so much more relaxed, you may want to take a few days, like, I don't know, a week, 3-4 days, to measure. So what that's going to do for you is it's going to allow you to be very good at eyeballing and not over-serving yourself or under-serving yourself. So for me, I took a few days when I first started back with really getting into health and nutrition. And I measured and I looked at what, 3-4 ounces of chicken looked like. I looked at what a serving of starchy veggies and a serving of different things, nuts looked like. whether it's using the palm chart and the hand chart or actually using measuring cups, just so you can get a good idea of what you're eating and what you need. Because sometimes we undereat and, we don't get enough of certain things. And sometimes, we overeat. Something that's really easy to do that with is like nuts and cheeses and stuff. So like I've been guilty of it before. I'll grab a massive handful of cashews and it's way too many cashews, but I'm like, I don't know, I'm gonna eat them. So when you know what that serving looks like, at least you're conscious of how many you're eating because you know what it should be. So not saying that you have to measure long term because that can get tedious as well, but taking a few days to kind of feel it out so that you can then feel good about serving yourself food freehand can be a super helpful way to kind of, just get a general idea of what you're doing there. All right, and so after that quick overview of food, I'm gonna mention water because water is so very important and it doesn't get recognized in nutrition enough. Our bodies need water. It will help with you feeling better. You won't have as many headaches. You won't be as tired. Your skin will benefit and your digestion will benefit. I don't need to say a bunch on water, but it's super important to make sure you're getting enough. Definitely somewhere at least up between those 80 and 100 ounces a day. You'll feel amazing. It'll make a huge difference. I will say, make sure it's spread throughout the day. You don't want to drink that all at once. That's not good. So spread that water throughout the day. Gradually build up. I had someone ask me one time how much water I drank, and they said that they could never drink that much. And did I build up to it? And I was like, yes, I definitely built up. I didn't start drinking this much water. It's just something you gradually add on, over days and weeks and months, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, I'm doing great with my water. So enough about water. Just remember, super important, carry that, refillable cup or water bottle around with you and get that water in. I promise it will make a difference. All right, I'm gonna check my board again real quick, see if there's anything that I really wanted to hit. Okay, so basically I wanted this video to be short and be an overview. It's kind of a segue into other nutritional topics later for a series on nutrition on my YouTube. But main thing here, keep it simple. Do something that's sustainable for you. You don't have to do anything 100% specific or what everyone else is doing. Just do something that works for you, makes you feel good, and that you can make last. Again, super basic and simple way to look at this. Lots of whole foods, less processed foods, except for the occasional treat, snack, whatever. And it really doesn't have to be complicated. I think that's the major thing. We overcomplicate things. Exercise, nutrition, we want to have this huge, massive, thing that it has to be, but it really doesn't have to be complicated. So I promise it's not that bad. Find a way to, just start getting more veggies in, or start drinking more water, start eating more fruit for snacks, just little things, and build up on those. So thank you guys for joining me. Remember to like and subscribe and all of those wonderful things so I can keep bringing workouts and vlogs, and definitely leave me topics you'd like to see below because I love actually talking about things that you guys care about and are interested in. So yeah, thanks so much for joining me. I enjoyed this little quick overview and I can't wait to follow it up with some more nutrition in the next few vlogs. So yeah, that's it guys. Let me know if you had any questions, suggestions, all those things, and I'll see you next time.